Hi everybody and welcome to this art class, and hello from the plant. It seems to be waving at you today. So how's everyone going? If you have got an art pack with you today, I think we'll start actually by opening it. So you can pause the video and open it. We'll have a look at what's inside, and for those without an art pack, we'll have a chat about what you might need to gather up to work alongside with us today. Okay, so in the art pack, what have we got? We have got two pieces of black card. So if you don't have an art pack, if you can grab some dark colored card, that'd be brilliant to work with today. Even if you just have some A4 paper, you can work alongside us as well, but this is the ideal thing to have. Also, there is a picture like this, which I don't know if you see what I see, but it's giving you a bit of a clue and a hint of what we might be talking about today. Do you see stars? Maybe. So that's in there. And there is also another piece of paper, which again, you might recognize some of these words that are on it. And it looks a little bit like a map of dots, maybe. So maybe you recognize this, maybe you don't. So yes, the stars. We are going to be talking about stars. And what do we need apart from all of these objects? We need some colouring pencils, and because we're working on dark card, it's really good to have a white pencil or a very light pencil. And if you also have a lead pencil or HB, whatever you've got, and a rubber, which will come in super handy when we are doing our main piece of work. Okay, so the night sky. I'm going to show you this image first. This is my favourite part of the night sky, which, I mean, I don't know, does that sound a bit crazy? But if you're on Earth and you're looking up at the night sky, depending on where you're standing and what time of year it is, you can see the same patterns coming up every season, each year. And for thousands of years, people recognized this. They thought it was pretty amazing and have been kind of trying to understand our place in the universe by looking at the stars and trying to understand how everything works. But as well as that, in these patterns, they started to see pictures, stories, images, and things like that. And how did they do that? Well, let's have another look at this picture. So you can see that it's the same photo, but this time the person has helped us by drawing lines, so almost played join the dots on the most important parts of this, which is called Orion, as you can see. And the piece that I always see is in the winter, actually, in Ireland. You can see Orion, and Orion's belt is what stands out to me. I usually can't find any other constellations, which are the kind of the name given to these patterns of stars that people can spot in the night sky. The belt is the three stars here in the middle, and they're usually super bright and they're in almost a straight line, so they're quite easy to spot. And can you see anything else? If you look at this as a pattern and try to imagine an image like a figure or an animal or something, is there anything that stands out? Any idea? Let's have a look at how artists described Orion, and what did they see? But they saw a human figure. This first one is a few hundred years old, and you can see it's a person, and the belt you can see in the middle here, and then the figure, and they're wearing what looks like almost a star crown. They're holding a shield that has a face, and they're holding a club. So that's one version of this smiling kind of figure. And let's look at the next one, which again is a figure, but this time he has his back to us and he's holding a club again and a shield, but kind of on the opposite directions. So the same pattern of stars, two different artists or scientists have come up with two different versions of this figure. And let's look at another one. So again, a human figure, but this time holding a lion's skin, which is completely different to the idea of a shield, isn't it? And is facing away from us. And then the next one, you can see again, so it's a human figure, but he's actually kneeling this time rather than standing and facing us. And as I say, the lion skin, rather than being the back of it, it's the front, and you can actually see the lion's face. And then he is holding a club. So they often have seen a club or a sword, and they've seen a shield or a lion skin. And sometimes the figure is facing us, sometimes turned its back to us. And it's quite interesting, just out of this very, very simple pattern of stars, all these different versions were drawn to show who is Orion? What is this figure that we see? And I'm going to show you one more just to give you an idea of kind of the other patterns and pictures that people have seen, which is this image here is a great example. And it's a drawing that shows how when you join the dots in this part of the sky, this artist could see all these different animals, objects, people. And each one of them would have been given a name, and they might have been given a story, and they might have different meanings to people as well. So that's where we're going to start with today. Have a close look at this. It might help you get some ideas, and it might help you kind of start to see how this works and how each person can see these things very differently, because all you have to go on is a very simple pattern of stars, and the rest is up to you. All right, so have you had a good look at that? Right, well, what we're going to do now, we're going to take this page here, which is, as we described earlier, what looks like stars, and it is part of the night sky. But for those of you that don't have the art pack, you can actually quite simply just get a piece of white paper or any paper you have and just spend a minute or so drawing lots of random stars. Don't think about it, just throw down lots and lots and lots of stars. And then you could pick up a different color pencil or pen or whatever you have, and you can start to join the dots and create pictures from that. So don't worry if you don't have the printout, you can make it yourself as well. Okay, so let's get started doing our joining the dots on our star sheet. Let's just start joining dots and see what comes out. When you find something, you might like to name it. Okay, so 2 minutes to do this, and then we'll meet back and get on to the next exercise. Let's go. Okay, how did you get on with that? I had great fun. So I came up with a potato, I came up with a chasing rat, a forgotten toy, a dancing Joe. I don't even know who Joe is. It's amazing, isn't it? Once you start joining dots, these pictures just appear out of almost nowhere. So these are some of the ones I came up with. I hope you had fun and you've come up with a lot as well. So we'll put that aside. That was to get us thinking about joining the dots, making pictures, and creating images in the stars. Let's have a look at our next piece of paper. So, did you know that you yourself have a constellation, a pattern of stars that is associated with you especially? So depending on when you were born, you will have a star sign. So you might be familiar with this and you might know yours already, but in case people don't, I'm going to put up a chart now which has the list of star signs and the dates, so you can figure out first, before we get started, which one is associated with you. So have a look. So for example, for me, I am in August and I'm associated with Leo. Once you figure that out, we're going to have a look at this sheet and you can see what pattern of stars is associated with your sign. So again, I'm Leo, so this is my pattern of stars down here. Wherever you see a dot is a star. And I'll show you one artist depiction of all these different signs just to get you thinking about the symbols that people have usually associated with them. You might decide with your sign that you're going to invent something new, but just to give you a background. Here we go. So here we have Aquarius. So if you're Aquarius, have a look at the pattern of dots on the page here and then see the image this artist created, which is somebody holding a pitcher of flowing water. So that's what that one is associated with, but you might see something different. Then we have Pisces. Again, that is associated with fish, and here you have, out of this pattern, two fish tied together by the tail. Then we have got Aries, and Aries is associated with a ram, so it's like a sheep but with ram horns. And you can see that all that we have here to go on are 3 dots like that. Then we have Taurus, which is associated with a bull. So out of this few dots here, bull is what's seen. Then we've got Gemini, usually associated with twins. You can see how from Gemini, you can almost imagine how these two top stars are like the heads, and then the other stars that become the body. And Cancer, which is associated out of these few very, very simple dots with a crab. Okay, now let's have a look. Leo, that was my one, wasn't it? A lion. Virgo is associated with the shape of a lady, and this one has, like, you got angel wings or bird wings. And then Libra, which is a set of weighing scales or a balance. So you'd put a different thing in each dish, and it will tell you the weight of them compared to each other. So it's kind of an object more than a creature or an animal or a person. And then you have got Scorpio, which is from these few dots becomes a scorpion. And Sagittarius, a very complicated one out of this picture of dots here. You've got a man who's half man, half horse, and he's an archer with a bow, which is cool. And then Capricorn, interesting, a kind of a ram with a mermaid tail. So have a look at your sign and think about those pictures that we just saw. And we are now going to take our own dots of pattern of stars and create our own image. As I say, you can go with kind of similar to what you've seen just now. You might decide you're going to stick with the scorpion for Scorpio, or stick with the lion for Leo, or stick with twins for Gemini, or you might decide you're going to do your total own image, your own picture, something that you feel represents you, or maybe something that you see when you look at your dots. So how are we going to do it? Okay, let's have a look. I'll show you how. So we are going to draw our own star sign picture. So this is my Leo line one that I made earlier, and I'm going to show you how I make it, and I'm also going to show you a special trick that these images have. So let's get down here to the desk, and I've got my black piece of paper, I've got a white pencil or a light pencil that will show up on the black card, and I have my star sign map, so I can see my Leo pattern of stars, and I'm going to copy that pattern of stars onto my black sheet. So this is how the Leo one goes. So once I've drawn those stars in, I'm going to create a lion out of this. Now, this lion that I made earlier was like this, facing that way, but this time I'm going to make it face the opposite way, just to show you how you can do these in all kinds of different ways. So I see an eye here, I'm going to draw an eye beside it. I see a nose, this can be an ear, and then I'm going to draw the mouth here. So you can see how I'm starting to make my lion, and I'm going to draw some lines in here. This is going to be one of the arms with this star. Then I'm going to use these stars to create a back leg like that. And then I'm going to draw in a tail. I'm just going to invent a tail up here. So a lion tail, and then I'm going to join these back here, and then I'm going to draw in a lion mane around it. Okay, so that is my lion. So let's compare them. They're quite different. So they're actually facing in different directions. Now what you can do is get some other colours, or keep using your white, so different colour pencils will show up really well, and start colouring in and drawing extra designs around your picture. And you might decide as well to add some extra stars all around the outside. So I'm going to do some stars and some planets. I might do something that's like Earth. There's Earth going to be in here. And I think this will be the sun over here. And maybe there's Saturn. And I might even draw a rocket over here. So you can see that my star sign picture is getting really full of stars and planets and rockets and all kinds of things like that. And you can see my lion. So now there is one last trick to these, which is really fun. So what is that? If you take a pencil with a bit of a sharp point on it and a rubber, which I have here, we are going to poke some holes into the Leo stars, so that light, when we stick it on a window, will shine through. So if you put your rubber down on the desk, and then you put this on top where you're going to poke a hole. So I'm going to go for this star here that made its ear. I'm going to put a hole into this star here That was one of its eyes. And I'm going to keep doing all this until finally I've got a hole poked through the paper into the rubber beneath, so it's nice and safe. Okay, so here you can see my lion, and the black card is blocking the light, but where we've poked holes, the stars are shining through just like they would be in the night sky. And here's another lion, and I've done this strange little cat as well. So in your pack there is more card. You can make another pattern of stars and do another image. If you've enjoyed making your star sign images, I've enjoyed making mine, and I'm actually going to work on a few more. I've got this one on the go now. I think I'll give it to someone as a gift. So maybe that's an idea. You could make someone else's star sign, maybe someone in your family, a sibling or a friend, and you could give them that as a lovely present, and explain to them about the light coming through and how the stars, the patterns are in the sky, and how you came up with it. And another great thing to do is if you share the work you're making with me, it means I can share it with everybody else, and that helps to give lots more ideas. So even you might see an idea someone else had and you'll be like, I've never thought of doing it that way before, I didn't think of that idea, and that might give you more and more ideas to work with, so you can just keep work on developing and making more artwork based on the stars and star signs. So we'll leave it there. I'm going to go back to work on this one and figure out who I might give it to as a gift, and we'll see you next time for Art Club. See you guys, chat then, bye bye.